Hey everybody, and welcome back to part 2 of the early made in the USA. So today we've got what might be a little bit of a sleeper, and this is kind of a crazy deal. So this amp is made by Precision Audio. It is the PA450. So if you've probably heard of Precision Audio, because they make crap like this. Okay, so this is the amp that we actually stuck a bullet through. Got a video on that. That was kind of fun. So anyways, we shot this thing and it actually didn't even kill the amp. So that's kind of interesting. So, and the also infamous thump Precision Audio. And so obviously these things aren't made in America. These are most likely like Korean or something. I don't remember. One of these has a tag on it, made in Korea or something like that. So anyways, but this one, oddly enough, said it's made in the USA. Holy crap, that's insane. And so I did a little research. Hey, I've noticed that a lot of you are returning viewers. Hey, please like, subscribe, leave comments, do all that stuff. And also, check out our Facebook page if you get a chance. Look at this. We got car audio and electronics from 1994. So this amp is really that old. So anyways, so we turn to the page where here, and what do we see? We see performance audio. All right, so let's take a look. Precision audio, I should say. So here's our amp right here, okay? Is what we're looking at. So, crazy thing, this amp was $299. It doesn't really say much. It doesn't even specify that it's made in the USA. It's 50 by 4, you know, pretty standard stuff. And, you know, when I was going through this directory, you know, a good name brand, you know, 4 by 50 amp would be probably in the, you know, $400, $500 and up range. So, you know, is this thing a bargain at $299? Hey, pause the video, go into the comments and let me know, do you really think this thing's made in America or not? You know what, let's listen to it, let's tear it open, let's look at it, let's dyno it, you know, and let's find out. Watch with me. What did you expect? All right, we got the Precision Audio PA450 on the dyno, and you know, albeit I was fairly impressed with how it sounded and what it did with the subwoofers and the whole bit. So we got 4 ohms, all 4 channels are loaded. Let's see what we can do. Oh my God, a measly 21 watts, and that's at 14.4 volts. That's not that impressive. It's rated at 50. All right, well, 21 watts, even though they are accordingly American watts, that's not very impressive. So let's see what it'll do. 2 ohms, all channels loaded. Let's give her a shot. Well, it looks like we got 36 watts. That's better. I'm going to see if I can figure out how to bridge this thing, and we'll try it bridged. So while this amp is bridgeable, I wasn't really able to kind of figure out specifically how it's bridgeable. So I thought, well, hey, you know what? Maybe the other channels are stronger. Maybe there's something wrong with the channels that I tested. I was testing the front. Now we're going to go ahead and we're going to test the rear channels, and this is 2 ohms stereo, all channels driven. See what it'll do. Looks like 30 watts. I don't know if you guys could hear when an amp gets to clipping, it really starts making a weird kind of whistling, humming kind of sound. It's kind of interesting. So let's see what this thing will do dynamically on 40 hertz. Looks like we got 74 watts, but I'm not convinced on that. So let's reset it. Let's run that thing again. Let's see what it'll do. Well, looks like we got 72 and then 107. So you know what? Let's run this thing again. Let's see what the hell this thing is going to do. Looks like we got 68 watts. So this thing has some dynamic headroom on it, definitely, for sure. So maybe that's why it sounded so good on the subwoofers. But you know what? Let's tear into this thing and see what it looks like. All right, so we got this thing cracked open, and I'm going to tell you, you guys are going to want to watch to the end because I found out some information about the parent company, where these came from, who they're affiliated with, and so it's pretty interesting stuff. But if you look at this, it's not a horrible looking board by any means. I mean, still not convinced this Joker's made in America. It's a double-sided board, and I also looked up all the transistors and stuff. So it's got on the power supply, we've got IRF 530 MOSFET. So it is a MOSFET amplifier. So it's typical of that time. They're 100 volt, 90 watt, a piece, kind of whatever. So those are pretty standard. I would say transistor wise, this power supply should make its rated power. I think where it's coming up short is the size of this transformer. For a 4-channel amp, this is not enough, okay? And it's not creating enough voltage, and the caps are really too small. So, I mean, we don't even have the power supply to support the output. So on the output, we've got the D718 and the complementary B688, and those are bipolar junction BJT transistors. And again, those are capable of making 50 watts a channel because, well, I think you'd be pushing it because a lot of times you'll have 4 transistors on the output. This one has 2. These are 120 volt, 80 watt, 8 amp maximum each. So it would be pretty iffy on really sustaining, much over 100 watts. So anyways, that's what you got. And then the output capacitors on these things are, I think they're 35 volt, 1000 microfarad jobs. And yeah, 35 volt, 1000 microfarad. So really, this amplifier really doesn't have the capability of doing much more than it did. But I tell you what, I got some information on what is in, who made these things and really what they are. So let's check it out. All right, so I looked up some stuff and I found on the board that it said Anaba Audio International. So these are brands that they've filed for trademarks and stuff under this company, Anaba Audio. So we've got Shaker, Hot Shot, Striker, Mobile Authority, and so I believe there was even actually more. So thanks to AI, it says the parent company is Audio Land Electronics, and Mobile Authority, Visonic, Thump, Shaker, and there was lots of different companies that were so apparently Anaba Audio was who was manufacturing this stuff. So I'm a little skeptical if it was made in the United States or not, or if it was assembled, or it's just complete BS, 100%. The FTC has some guidelines on that. All right, so the significant date in question here is going to be when did the FTC, set these guidelines? And that is going to be 1997. Okay. Apparently, they established, that the made in the USA, all or virtually all of the product's contents and processing must be from the US. Pause it if you'd like to read it. So it looks like in 2021 they kind of maybe added to that. Um, so and to enforce it a little bit more too. So anyway, so there wasn't really a whole lot of guidelines as far as what was made in the USA before this. Well, my hopes were high. I think we got bamboozled on this one. There's no way this thing was made in America. I think with the cheap components on the inside and poor quality output on this thing, there's no way that this thing was an American made amp. So, anyways, hey, let you guys know there is way more coming on this series, and we've already got a couple down the pipe already. So go to our channel, check them out. Appreciate it. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Don't forget to pick up one of our channel stickers, and I will catch you next time.